Since the early 1970s, the sound of hip-hop has changed immensely. From the New York City boom-bap drum breaks to the popular trap sound we hear today. The reason for this evolution of sound lies in the hands of the producers of hip-hop. I had the chance to sit down with 26-year-old Chicagoland producer Rob Lyrical to discuss his journey as a producer and his involvement with artists like A$AP Ferg and Nicki Minaj. I'm sitting down with Grammy-nominated, AMA-winning, and 3-time multi-platinum music producer Rob Lyrical. How are you, Rob?
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but 4-time multi-platinum.
4-time? All right, sorry, skip that one.
No, all right.
So with all those accolades aside, how did you get your start in producing music?
It was mostly my parents. Like, as a kid, they always just told me to explore whatever I was curious about. They always just, were behind that. And one day I just woke up and I was like, I want to try to make music. I kind of started off from there, and I just kind of stuck with it. And I was a sophomore, I think, in high school, junior. One of them, yeah.
What were some of your influences growing up, music-wise?
Oh man, it ranges, cause I had an older sister and she listened to like a lot of like R&B, so I listened to like a lot of like B2K and like Neo and things like that. And then my pops was a little bit more eclectic. He listened to like a lot of like Phil Collins, a lot of Seal. Mom listened to like a lot of Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, real soulful type stuff. So for me, it was just a blend of a lot of that. And then at that time, I was on my real hip hop phase, so I was just like a lot of Nas, a lot of Lupe, a lot of Jay-Z. And I think around that time too, that's when like Cudi popped up. So Cudi was a big inspiration at the point in time. Because there was a wave of people with J. Cole at that point in time was up and coming. I remember Drake was up and coming. Wayne was huge at that point in time. So I had my influence is like range, you know what I'm saying?
And having that wide range of artists to influence you, do you feel like you have translated that within your music?
No. actually, no. I never really been good at, I guess, mimicking the things that I really enjoy, just because I always had this like mindset of like, if people can make something better than I can, then I'll just leave it.
For those who might not know you, you are 1/4 of a collective called Shins of Fly. Could you speak on that?
Well, yeah, so the collective, it's more like just two of us now. It's just more like the production duo, and it's just me and Stephen Pugh, also known as Tessarosa Steve. We all started in 2010, I think my senior year of high school. We created Chins. There was 4 of us at the time, and it was more so just in a space where there was like a lot of kids making music at school. I think it more started off for vanity reasons, stupid high school stuff like, oh, they think they're better than us. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's more of a super group, but it was honestly just like a couple of friends, and we all made music, so we all just kind of linked up together, and it just kept going from there. And like as time went on, we started to lose members from the group. That's more just so like just real life stuff. Like me and Steve, like, especially now, are like the forefront of the brand itself. So it just started off like anything else. Like, when you're a kid, you just something just kind of playing around with it, and it gets really serious. You know what I'm saying? Really quick sometimes, which is kind of what happened with us. So, yeah. Speaking
of getting serious really quick, one of your most well-known records that you've contributed on was Work by A$AP Ferg. How did that come about?
So I remember at the end of 2011, I believe, A$AP Rocky dropped that first tape, and I just remember like I was in love with that tape. Like, by the way, like I remember that was like my freshman year of college. I think I only listened to that tape for that and Section 80 for like a good like 2 or 3 months. So I was listening to like just those things. But I remember hearing Ferg for the first time on Kissing Pink, and I was like, yo, like something about this dude. And I was like, I don't know what it is. This dude is like dope. I remember telling Steve, and Steve was just like, man. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's something about this dude, and I want to work with him. And we had like some homies in the Bay Area. This is just my interpretation of it, but we knew him, and he hit us one day, and he was like, yo, I'm with Ferg. Send me some beats. So we sent him like 10 beats, and I'm thinking to myself, how did he get to just link up with Ferg, But it kind of just, he finessed his way in there. And I remember we got some records to Ferg at this time. I was at school. I went to the Art Institute of Schaumburg. And I remember being in class talking to Ferg. I was texting him every day, and then just in school, like, why am I here? It's probably not a good thing to tell kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, but and then what happened was, rapper stuff, I think he changed his number or something like that. He just disappeared, and I didn't think much of it. And then I remember maybe in 2012, about April, that same guy reached out to me. He was like, hey man, did you guys produce a song for ASAP? And we were like, bro, we don't know. You would know. Like, what's the name of the beat? Like, he literally just said that. He's like, did you produce this track? And I was like, can you send it? Like, and he just, never said anything. So cool. And then I remember it was August, and me and Steve were on FaceTime, and he was on World Star, and he was like, "Oh, Ferg just dropped a new track." And I'm like, "Oh, word!" I love Ferg. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me see what it's about." So Steve's playing, and he's like, "Oh, we made this," And I remember like that night we reached out to the dude. And was like, "Yo, we just seen like work on World Star," and like within like 12 hours we all got back in contact with Ferg. He was like, "Yo, I've been looking for you guys." And that's just kind of how that happened. And then I remember he would come to Chicago, and we would like kick it with him and the mob, and like, Q, and at that time Danny Brown, And then I remember maybe about he came like in February with Rihanna or something like that. And then we went to a studio, and he was like, "Yo, we did a remix to work." And he was like, "I'm not gonna tell you who's on it. I'm gonna just play it for you." So he plays it. Obviously, the first verse is him. Kid, you're not Trinidad James and French Montana, we had no clue. We were sitting there like, and he was like, "It's French Montana." I was like, oh yeah. But obviously when Q and like Rocky come in, it's like, okay, those are very distinct voices and things like that. And like, the rest was just history. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
What about your work with Nicki Minaj's Pink Print album?
Yeah.
I know you had some producer credit on this track, Shanghai.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, long story short, pretty much at the end of 2013, we got reached out. And just via email from this guy, he was like, "Hey, like, I work with YMCMB, Drake, Wayne, and Nicki." And he was just like, "So if you guys got anything," he's like, "I really like what you guys did for Ferg, whatever." And it was the same situation at this point. I don't know anything about music business. I just like, guy wants some beats, whatever. He said he's worth these people send them. So I remember it's just like end of 2013, I sent them some stuff, and I'll never forget, it was like early January. While I'm checking my phone, I get a call from this number that's like based in like Florida, anything like that. So I answered the phone. He's like, "Yeah, is this Robert Sample?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." So I am this guy that emailed you, and one of your records got picked up by this artist, but I won't tell you who it is until like you sign the splits. So I'm like, okay, like this is sketchy, like what I'm saying, but it means something must be real. And we signed the splits for it. Just simple splits, just pretty much saying like, if this track releases, this is the percentage I get, this is the percentage Steve get, this is the percentage my management gets, this is the percentage he gets. And he told us like it was Nicki Minaj. So at this time I'm working at Sports Authority, and it's like early January 2014. Late 2014, I remember, I'll never forget, I was at work. So I worked at footwear in the back at Yorktown. And as I'm back there, I get a text message from this random number, and I look and he's like, "Hey, I'm this guy." And he's like, "Yeah, Nicki Minaj wrapping up a project. She says if you put a switch up in the record, she'll take it like today." Bro, I think I was at work at like 1 o'clock. I think I got up at like 2:30. I think I was up from like 2:30 p.m. to maybe like 9 a.m. the next day, just finishing the track. It was just this big mess. And we got on the record.
What do you think is next for you as a producer?
Just growth. I know right now me and Steve are working on something really cool. That should be done within the next few months. But as a producer, and like I get into this debate a lot with different people, I just kind of feel like I've done so much already, and it wasn't one of those things where I sat down when I started making music. Originally, it was like, I want a Grammy or I want this. I just wanted to make music with my friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like still today, it's just that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to express myself via music. So anything that comes is just a bonus. You know what I'm saying? But now at this age, by the time I was 23, I was already Grammy nominated. I was multi-platinum. I was all these things already. And next is honestly just more so what I've been doing, just going back to the more elementary things and being able to help the people around me express themselves and put them in, and connecting people based off of what I've learned and based off of the network I've built. It's more so just almost giving back any way I can and helping.
Reporting for the Blueprint News Network, I'm Kevin Tate.